How long does it take to charge a Tesla Model Y? We're going to find out. All right, guys, I got a couple of scenarios for you for road trip speeds and charging your Tesla. First of which is going to be about mid-pack, 50 to 80%. You know, you're on a road trip and you want to top off, you want to stop and maybe get some snacks, but you still want to charge, right? So we're going to go over the times and the speeds for that. The second is going to be the optimal way to charge on road trips, and that's going to be around the 5% mark all the way to the 80% mark, and we're going to go over the times and speeds for that as well. And then later in the video, we're going to go over home charging, which is pretty similar to hotel charging when you're on a road trip. So let's get into it all right now. Here we go. We're going to go from 50% to 80%. You can see everything on the screen. It's at 50% state of charge at the moment. We're plugged in at a V3 supercharger. It's capable of 250 kilowatts. At 10:04 a.m. You can see our temperatures over there on the top right of the screen, 51.75 C or 61 C for the max temp. The battery pack obviously has different temperatures throughout, and we are currently charging at 105 kilowatts. At this state of charge in the battery, that is expected. We're not going to see the full speeds at 250 kilowatts. So we're going to see, it says, I think when we started it said 20 minutes remaining. Now it says 15 minutes remaining at 10:04 a.m. So we're going to see how long it takes to go from 50% to 80% as if you were on a road trip. We started at 10:04 a.m. It is now 10:14 a.m., which means we are 10 minutes into it, and we have added 20% to the battery. We went from 50 to 70% in 10 minutes at this state of charge. Keep in mind that the kilowatts has lowered. It is beginning to taper. It has tapered a lot, actually, and it's been level around 70 kilowatts right now. I've also noticed the max temp over there in the top right has been leveled off at 60.75 C, with the min temp around 55 C. So here we are at the 10-minute mark, added 20%. It's estimating 6 more minutes to get to the 80% range. Just wanted to give you a little update. So now you know what 50 to 70 looks like on this particular model, and what kind of tapering we're seeing. Oh, the max temp just jumped to 61 C. Keep in mind, you can see at the top of the screen as well, 91 degrees Fahrenheit outside. So that's why I like the service mode for this particular test. You can see all this stuff going on, and we can actually overlay the battery, the regular user interface battery, over top of the service mode. So there you go, just a few minutes remaining to go from 50 to 80% under normal, ideal conditions. The battery was supercharged, it was warm, it's still warm, and I think this is a best case scenario. Coming up on the 80% mark, and it says we have 3 minutes remaining. We're at 61 kilowatts, so 5 more percent to the 80% point. We'll see exactly if that's going to be accurate or not. But almost done with this test. Very interesting stuff. We are at 79%, almost at the 80%. 1 more percent to go. We're at 10:20 a.m. We started at 10:04 a.m., so at 16 minutes. And it even tells you exactly battery almost full, at least what the current level is. As soon as it stops, I'm going to write stuff down, and I will give you an update after I unplug. So that way I won't incur any, I mean, I have a little bit of time, but I don't want to get any overage charges. So almost there, almost 80%. We're looking at 16 minutes at the moment, probably 17 minutes to go from 50% to 80%. It says calculating, and charge complete. 10:21, and we're at 80%, and there you go. So 17 minutes to go from 50% to 80%. Real quick, let's take a look at the temperatures. It didn't go up too much, 61.75, and 54.5 is the minimum. Let me go unplug. So there you go, pretty good test. I think 17 minutes was the number that we achieved to go from 50 to 80, 10:04 to 10:21. That's 16, yeah, 17 minutes. It originally estimated 20 minutes, but then it really quickly dropped down to 15 minutes. So it doesn't surprise me that it was right there in the middle at 17 minutes. You're probably thinking to yourself right now, yeah, my gas car charges much faster. Wait, no, it doesn't charge at all. It fills up faster. Yeah, okay, you got us there. But keep this in mind. We have been road tripping Teslas for a very long time, and here's kind of what we have experienced along the way. When you stop for a charge, more often than not, the car is done before you are. Because think about it, when you're on a road trip, you want to get out, stretch your legs, go to the bathroom, get some snacks, maybe order lunch or dinner, maybe eat lunch or dinner. So by the time you do all of those things, more often than not for us, the car is waiting for us to finish what we're doing. So yeah, you can, fill up a gas car real fast, but if you're doing all those things as well, it really doesn't matter. Hey, a quick tip for you road trippers out there: if you're heading to a supercharger and you're, say, 30 minutes out, whip out the app of the food location you are planning to eat at, order ahead of time, so that way the food is ready and you can save time that way, just charging, maybe eating in the car or eating on your way out. Another one is, if you know you have a longer charge to get to your next supercharger, I don't recommend charging deep into the pack, beyond 80% for instance, but if you have to, why don't you plan on eating lunch or dinner, and you're going to be spending 30, 40 minutes anyway. That way you're technically not waiting for the car has to do its thing and you have to do your thing. Day 2 of our test, and I want to kind of be at a lower state of charge. I want to be around 5% state of charge, so we'll see how that goes. I've got 3.3 miles to get to the local supercharger. I am already navigated to the local supercharger. It's the same one as test 1. And we've got 20 stalls available, so we should be absolutely fine. So basically, different day, and we'll get you all set up before we actually start supercharging. But I got 3.3 miles to go and 7% left on the battery. I want it to be around 5%. In case you are on a road trip and you arrive at a low state of charge, you're gonna see exactly how long it takes from the lower state of charge to the 80% mark. We have arrived at 6% state of charge. Just to give you an idea, this is a different day from the first test. It's a little bit warmer, 112 degrees Fahrenheit, at least according to the Tesla here. It's usually higher than for real, so just take that with a grain of salt, of course. We're at 6% state of charge, like I mentioned. I was trying to get it down to 5%, but just couldn't get that to work. But, this is kind of everyday, real-world kind of testing. It's not exactly rocket science or exact science or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and get plugged in. We're going to write the times down and all that stuff on my little notepad. Hopefully between now and then, maybe it'll drop down to 5%. We got the AC going. It's pretty hot today. Let me grab my pen and pad, and I'll write everything down to get this test going. All right, we are starting to charge. 6% state of charge at 12:50 p.m. So we're going to go all the way to 80% and see exactly, we'll check in along the way and see exactly how long things take. Just flipped over to 12:51, so it's probably 12:50 and 30 seconds or thereabouts. So we'll see exactly how this thing works. Just wanted to give you an idea, if you're on a road trip, what state of charge you arrive at depends on exactly how fast things are. Obviously, the temperature is going to be a factor. By the way, we're at max speeds, over max speeds. 251 was a second ago, 248. So we are definitely warm enough to accept a full charge. And that's a good sign, actually. Get the AC going back again. 115 now. Knowing that we had max speeds is a good thing. That means this car was properly warm, which I kind of expected on a 115-degree day. It has been brutal this last couple of weeks in Los Angeles. So we go into high voltage, and then we go into charging, and it should give us temperatures. Yep. There we go. 49.75 C is the min temperature, and the max is 56.5 C. So definitely warm enough to accept a good enough charge. Still rocking here at 184 kilowatts. Just a few minutes into it, about 3 minutes into it. And we're at 18%. 10-minute mark. We're at 1 p.m. right now. 40% state of charge. And estimate is 20 minutes remaining. We're rocking at 99 kilowatts, on our way to 80%. We've added 25 kilowatt hours to the battery so far, and the temperatures are at 59.25 minimum C and 66.25 minimum C. So we went from 6% at 12:50 p.m. all the way to 40% at 1 p.m. Just so you know, when you're on a road trip, it kind of walks its way down. It steps its way down throughout the entire charging session. It's not something that, you know, it goes up to 250 and just remains there until you're done, and then you unplug and you go. So that's not how charging works. It steps its way down, it slows its way down. Nothing to panic about. It's completely normal. That's just how battery technology works. So there we are at the 10-minute mark. It was 40% at the 10-minute mark from 6%. So even if you're on a road trip and you need a quick little bit to get to the next station, it's fast. The bottom portion of the battery, that's the point I want you to take away from this video, is the bottom portion of the battery is going to charge much faster than the top end of the battery. And that's why we're doing our test to 80%, because from 80% to 100%, it's like a coma. It's like, oh my gosh, it's like watching paint dry. Why bother? The only reason you would ever want to charge to 100% or 90% or something higher than 80% is if you absolutely need it to get to the next charging station. Most of the time, you can get to a future destination charging station down the road, just living in this bottom portion of the battery from 5% to 80%. This is the 20-minute mark. We are at 58% state of charge, sitting at 73 kilowatts, which I think these are ideal conditions in terms of the warmth of the battery. And keep in mind, the car is liquid cooled and the supercharger is liquid cooled. This is a V3 supercharger. So again, 1:10 p.m., this is 20 minutes in. We were at 58% once we kicked this clip over. And it says we got 13 minutes remaining to get to the 80% mark, and we are at 59% right now. So not too much longer. I think we're going to be good, and just giving you an idea of exactly how long this will take on a road trip. Also keep in mind that on road trips, you know, when you stop to charge, you're doing other stuff. You're going to the bathroom, you're getting snacks, you're stretching, you're, you know, dealing with your kids, that sort of thing. It's amazing how fast this time goes when you're on a road trip. Unlike me, who is sitting here watching paint dry just for the sake of this video. 70% update for you. We're at 1:17 p.m. I think it's about to kick over to 1:18. We're at 70% state of charge, like I mentioned. Still going about 65 kilowatts. It did taper a lot, but our last update 7 minutes ago was at 73 kilowatts, and now we're at 64 kilowatts. Just wanted to give you this quick update as we're heading into 10 more percent. 1:17 p.m. from 12:50 p.m. Looking good. About 6 minutes remaining. I don't know if you noticed throughout the test, it was saying, you know, 25 minutes remaining, 20 minutes remaining, and it's looking like it's going to be on target for a 1:25 finish. We'll see exactly how accurate that is in about 9%. Coming up on the end of the test, we're at 78% state of charge, and look at that. It's about 1:25. It's getting close by the time that finishes. One thing I did want to note, and I don't think I did it on the previous one, maybe it's on the video, I'm not sure, but the session energy used, or added, I should say, was 54 kilowatt hours. It's still going up a little bit. We're at 79% still. Price at this location is 0.46 kilowatt hours, and right now our session cost is around $25. But thanks to you guys, I have free supercharging for quite a while, thanks to you guys using my referral code. Anyway, that's how much it costs to go from 6% to 80% roughly. And just wanted to point that out as well, because a lot of people always ask, how much does it cost to charge? How much is it? And I don't actually know, because I haven't paid for it in a while. Not to brag or anything, I'm truly humbled by it. It's fantastic. But it allows me to do tests like this without having to pay for it. All right, still calculating. Charge limit, it's at 80%, still doing its thing. Should be any second now. Getting my pen ready. Still charging or calculating, and charge complete. There we go, 1:25 p.m. and $25.48. Let me go unplug, and I'll be right back. There you go. There's our test from 6%. I was hoping to do 5%, but I got it at 6% up to 80%, and it took us from 12:50 p.m. to 1:25 p.m. And keep in mind, there might be some other factors involved here, but I don't think it played a big role. Obviously, the extreme heat is a big factor, but to be honest, everything's liquid cooled and everything's working fine. And I was seeing normal step downs from 251 kilowatts down to 64. I mean, that's a normal progression that I've seen throughout the years of charging Teslas. So just wanted to give you the idea of charging from an extreme low percent state of charge all the way up to 80%, possibly on a road trip. One of the best kept secrets in electric vehicle ownership is, of course, plugging in when you get home from work and waking up in the morning to a full car ready for the day. Not a problem, no waiting, because the car is sitting there overnight anyway while you're sleeping, right? I'm gonna go ahead and throw a chart up on the screen showing you exactly how long certain chargers take with certain cars. Obviously, I can't throw a number out there for you because it depends on which charger you have, which car you're charging, how much amps you're running, all that other stuff. There's a lot of different variables involved. So this chart from Tesla is going to give you a good idea. And how does this relate to road trips? Well, a lot of hotels these days actually have a charger just like this or similar to this that you can use when you're staying at the hotel. You plug in when you get there, and in the morning, you've got yourself a full car. More often than not, it's free as well. So for us and our Tesla Model Y, this charger charges about 30 miles per hour of charge overnight. So we, of course, have a full battery in the morning when we wake up. This is called a level 2 charger or home charger. It's a Tesla wall connector. You may also be familiar with the Tesla mobile connector. They charge a little bit slower, but still acceptable for an overnight charge. Can handle most cars, maybe not a Cybertruck. That's got a big, big battery. All right, there you go. There is my experience with charging a Tesla Model Y at certain percentages up to different percentages. I hope this gives you some information that you can use on a road trip, as well as if you're new to Teslas or electric vehicles in general, you kind of have an idea before you get into the game exactly how long these things take to charge. As always, I really appreciate you watching. Don't forget to hit that like button. I know every YouTuber out there is asking for the same thing, but it takes just seconds out of your day. Hit that like button. While you're there, hit the subscribe button as well. It helps the channel grow, and it makes me happy. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. It fills up faster.